Hi, everybody. Welcome to our new podcast series, EduConnect With US. I'm your host, Sam Gutierrez, and I'm here with President of EduConnect, Jessica Record.
Hi, thank you for having us.
And CEO and founder, Rodrigue Colaianni.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so EduConnect USA is a leading consultancy in helping all things international students. So through the application process, the visa process, and the work process, we're really there to help international students. So I think this is a good time to just discuss more about how EduConnect helps international students, and I'll let you both introduce EduConnect USA and more of how our organization helps international students.
Well, thank you, Sam, for having us. It's great to have the opportunity to talk about our company, EduConnect USA. As far as I'm concerned, I've been in the US for almost 30 years, and my mission and the mission of the company is to really help as many international students and young professionals, giving them the opportunity not only to study in the US, but to work in the US. So everything we do really is to help international students with the whole process, because it's very hard, to know what do you have to do to get a visa to be legal in the US, what type of university, what type of program to choose, and what to study to help you in your careers.
Right.
And then obviously one of the very, very difficult parts is how can I work or train, do practical training in the US to be able to afford the program. So since day one, I wanted to make sure that we could help as many international students, and not necessarily only the wealthiest that can afford tuition in the US and the living expense,
Right.
But help students who have the motivation and the willingness to come to the US. So really, we put some programs together with partner university and host company to be able to host and help as many international students as possible.
Right. And today's episode, I really wanted to dive deep into a really important topic to a lot of international students and those that are visa holders just here in the US currently. So I really wanted to discuss change of status as our first kickoff to this podcast series, as it is a really hot topic and something that we really specialize in helping visa holders with. So maybe we could start with what exactly is change of status, and how do we help international students through that process?
Change of status is a process for non-immigrant, especially visa holders who have a visa in the United States, for them to change their visa type. So for example, if you come as a tourist, if you come as a J1 intern or trainee, and you find another purpose for being in the US that allows you to switch your visa type while remaining in the US. This is something that used to be a lot harder in the past. It would take months, sometimes up to a year, and oftentimes students would just need to go home and change their visa. But change of status now, it's become much more efficient. It's something that you can do, you apply for, you have a new intent, and you can switch to another visa like a F1 student visa. And so that's something that we have really been specializing in, helping students navigate. It's a government process. It's really challenging, but it's very doable, and it's very efficient if you have the right assistance.
Right. And we talk about visa holders. I mean, if we could dive into like the specifics of like what visa types really that we work with, and do we help both J1 visas or B1, B2 visas, and what that process looks like for those different visa types?
Yeah, the world of visa and immigration is kind of a tricky, aspect in the US. You can name all the type of visa, and you can basically go through the alphabets, right? You have the O1 visa, B1, B2 visa, H1B visa, and it's very complicated. So to be very, very simple, what we do is we study, your case, we discuss with you. So we're not immigration attorney, but we have experience because we've been doing that for, yes, over 25 years. So depending if you're here in the US, let's say on a J1 visa, which is an internship or traineeship visa, there is also J1 work and travel, J1 au pair, different categories within the J1 visa. And we know them all. We have experience with all of them. B1, B2, it's considered like a tourist visa or someone who is coming in the US for business for a specific period of time, up to 6 months. So while the candidates, whether it's a young professional, whether it's a student, whether it's an intern, have an expiration date on his visa and his status, and we work with them to identify what would be the best options to give them the opportunity to extend their stay and change program. So one of the most simple example is that if you're here as an intern working in a hotel for 12 months, you can then decide to do an MBA in hospitality management and go to what is called an F1 visa, which is a student visa. So that's what we specialize. We look at your case, we say, okay, let's prepare it with you without you having to go to an immigration attorney. We will help you, guide you how to do it, and you change status to an F1 visa. You become a student, and you can continue working with your employers through the CPT program.
Right.
And to add, at EduConnect, the visa type that we really work with and promote with our programs is the F1 student visa. So when you come to work with us, we can tell you your options about all the things that you can study to earn a master's degree, a DBA, a PhD. But all of our programs really emphasize the work and study, so that you're learning American management, you're learning in the US, you're getting a degree from the US, but you also are able to apply your knowledge and work while you study.
Right. And you mentioned so expiring visa dates. If you were like a student with an expiring date coming up, or not even a student, and just an exchange visitor, like a J1 visa, your DS 2019 is expiring soon. Do you have options to do the change of status within, I don't know, say a month or 2 months within that time frame to still go through that process? And what would that look like if your visa is expiring soon?
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, the most important thing is to time everything correctly, right? You don't want to start the process too late and then you rush to do all the paperwork. So the sooner you get advice, whether it's from us, whether it's from an immigration attorney, whether it's from a university, I advise everyone to inquire early about how can they change status, how can they extend their stay in the US. That's probably the smartest thing to do for an intern trainee, an au pair, or a tourist in the US, right? Now, as far as the process, there is what is called a premium processing process with the US immigration, which means that you can get an answer within 30 days. So, and actually right now, we're getting answers within 7-8 business days. So the process and the premium processing is very, very effective. But obviously you have to get admitted to the university first, because you need a proof of admission that you are going into college, you are going into an MBA program, an MS program, a PhD program, like Jessica mentioned. There is a wide variety of programs. So you need to register first, to your university. You need to get admitted, and then you can apply for a change of status. So we recommend that, student, intern, au pair, register and ask us for advice at least 3 to 4 months before the expiration of their visa.
I see.
What I really like to hear from students when I talk to them is, I'm doing this now, what's next for me? Whether it be about their academic program, how is this academic program going to help me in the future? Thinking about that, or how will, I have this visa now, what is my next step? So ideally there's a cushion, and everybody has their own end date, and every visa type is slightly different. So really thinking ahead, and like Rodrigue mentioned, a few months is a very good buffer, but it's never too early to start asking the questions, to start researching what's best for you. And then we also work with students too who hadn't thought of it or thought there was no options for them, and they're getting closer towards the end of their date, and it's not too late to ask for advice.
Right.
So even if the deadline is getting close, there's still time to reach out and get suggestions. And the other thing I see is students who are non-immigrant visa holders, who have learned from their friends that the only option is a last minute change to a tourist visa. So that we come across that all the time. Being educated, learning in advance, knowing your options, maybe that's the best route for you, but maybe there's different options depending on your goals.
Right. I think that's a great point. I think for those that are like just curious, or they're like whether your visa's expiring soon or later, like not even for another year or so, it's really important. And you have a free consultation that's offered from EduConnect, just to like really go over your specific case and what that entails. So what your options are in a year from now, or say in a month from now, whether your visa is expiring sooner or later. So I think if you're watching right now, it's really important and it's free. So it's might as well just book the call and just speak with one of our experts that can really give you that advice on what your next step should be and what options you have here in the US. So yeah, what are some of the biggest mistakes or issues that visa holders have when they're going through the change of status process?
One of the many things that can be really confusing is it's a government process. So there's a lot of regulations, there's a lot of rules, and a lot of people came in through embassies and consulates, and they got their visa stamp. They come into the U.S., so they have that in their mind. So I would say one tricky thing that people come across is that they want to change their status, which is a process that you can do in the U.S. You don't leave the U.S. to change your status. It's paperwork that you do inside the U.S. And some students still have that in their mind that they need to leave and go outside the U.S. and come back in and get a visa stamp. And so they're completely different processes. And each one of them is it's government language, government forms. So it's something that can be really challenging to navigate on your own.
Right.
Yes. Also, in today's age is people wanting to use AI to do everything for themselves, right?
Yeah.
So they tend to not seek advices from professional, whether it's immigration attorney, whether it's organization like ours, which is fine. You can find a lot of information on AI and on the internet. But every case is very specific. And when you file for a change of status, you have to have supporting documents, letters coming from the university. You have to have program description, which will basically make it a hit or miss, right? So it's very important not to believe that you can do everything with AI tools right now.
So if you're thinking of like filing on your own or filing with EduConnect, what is the kind of success rate that EduConnect sees with their filing?
So honestly, we've been doing change of status for the last 2.5, 3 years. Because before it used to take over a year, as Jessica mentioned earlier. Now with the premium processing, you get an answer within 30 days. So we started doing change of status, I would say, almost 3 years ago. And we have done over, I don't know, close to 1,000 change of status over the last 3 years. And to be honest, we only have one denial cases, which is unfortunately an individual who didn't provide all the correct information, right? So we have a very, very high success rate in terms of change of status. And that's why we advise, international candidates, international students, au pair, intern trainees, to do change of status within the US. Because right now, if you go to an American embassy or consulate and you apply abroad, the chance of denial are much, much, much higher.
Right.
So it's really something that we advise to visa holders in the US is to do a change of status within the US.
And we provide change of status assistance from the beginning and guidance from beginning to end. So we walk students through the form and what they need to submit We are not immigration attorneys, but we help with all the most standard cases. It's something that's a little bit tricky with the government language to do on your own, but with guidance of people who have done it multiple times in multiple situations, that's what we do. And then for certain cases that require it, we refer to our partners that are attorneys to work with those cases.
Awesome. Yeah, I think a good exercise, at least I wanted to try this out in our podcast. So where we're sitting down is to really like put our shoes in the place of a J1 visa holder and what that process looks like from right now with an expiring visa date in a couple months, and just sitting on the couch watching this podcast in a way. What would that look like, and what would you recommend them to do?
So the first thing would be to send us a message, send us a WhatsApp, schedule an appointment, or just set up a time to call us. With change of status, it's really important that you understand that your case is very unique, your case is very special. It's not a cookie cutter process. So what we would be asking when you call is, when does your, for the case of a J1, when does your DS end? And that aligns with making sure that your objectives align with the programs and the programs align with your objectives, and really working backwards to make sure that the timeline is aligned. So dates are very important, and dates are different per person. So to reach out to make sure that you have a plan, and this is an individual plan that one of our experts work on with you individually, so that you can go step by step with dates and deadlines, and so you don't have to figure that out on your own.
Nice.
Yeah. And honestly, within our company, I mean, I came here myself as a J1 visa holder like 28 years ago.
Wow.
And I personally went through many different visa until the green card. We have many of our employees, many of our consultants who were exchange students, exchange visitors, H-1B visa holders. So we really understand what they are going through.
Yeah.
And that's, one of the principles of why I founded this company. And I've been in the cultural exchange world for almost 30 years, is because I lived it myself. I understand what it is to arrive in the US, to apply for a visa, to apply for a social security card, and open a bank account, start working in a company.
Yeah.
So we know and we put ourselves in their shoes to help them the best way possible, because we know that their goal is to extend their stay, get a degree, an accredited US degrees, and have opportunities to work in the US and start their life as young professionals. So we understand what they go through. And today, change of status is really the key and one of the best options. It's important to say also that, when they are like J1 visa holders, for example, many people are telling them, you cannot do a change of status. You have to go home when your visa ends.
Right.
And it's not a true fact, I'm the living proof of it. You can have different intents, and you can change status, go from a J1 to an F1, and then from an F1 to an H1B, which is a work visa.
Right.
It is totally legal. We do that every day with, dozens of candidates and applicants. So what they need to understand is that it is possible, and they just need to do the right thing.
Right.
And we're here to help them.
And when you come to the US, it's an adventure, it's a journey, things come up. You come with one intent in mind, you find something else that inspires you while you're here. You meet friends, you see what they're doing, and so it's normal, and it's part of the adventure to figure out what's next for you, and then we help you get to that next stage of your journey and your adventure.
I think that's a great place to at least start our first podcast episode on the topic of change of status. And I know there's so much that we offer as an organization for anybody considering working and studying here in the US, whether you're outside the US or inside the US. And just as a reminder, if you're watching, and a current visa holder, there are options. So just book a call with us and we'll go through your specific case. Thank you, Jessica and Rodrigue, for speaking today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam, for having us, and we look forward to the next episodes.
Thank you for all our listeners and watchers. And don't forget to EduConnect with us.